G'day, welcome to the CRL Show. I'm Paul Arundale.
I'm Geoff Stevenson.
Some big issues coming up. We've just discussed a few big issues
we'll cover everything.
pre-recording, which you don't really want to listen to. That's why
we can start bonus episodes. I'll talk about a bonus episode I've got an idea of later on, maybe for pay-as-you-go or something. I don't know whether anyone would be interested. But, plenty to talk about.
Yeah, we've started off on fire here. Geoff, did you get out and see anything on the weekend?
Yeah, I actually will talk a bit later about the I went down to the Canberra Cup territory and watched Goulburn take on the Queanbeyan Roos. It was a cracker of a game. And like a lot of places around from what we've seen on the BarTV screens, the weather was fantastic, considering Goulburn is very cold no matter what this time of year, no matter how sunny it is, kind of thing.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that might be the last sort of mild weekend when we're about to hit some really cold weather. So,
yeah, but you know, that's what it's all about. Country rugby league, getting out there and putting your beanie on and getting comfy.
Yeah, well, it might be cold, but the footy's been warming up. There's been some superb footy around the traps. It was another big weekend for local competitions. But coming up tonight's show, we'll have a look at the Clayton Cup. There's a few teams that have
a lot of movement this week.
Yeah, we've got that. Obviously, big hits, tries of the week, and a few other things on the CRL Show. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Another big episode. So again, I say that every week.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is big. Just not in size, but just anyway,
plenty to talk about.
Yeah, but we'll get into it. We'll have a look at a game first up. We've got Camden taking on Thulmere. We'll get that up on the screen for you. Camden, one of the undefeated teams, hosting Thulmere, who I thought would give them a real shake in this one, and. Camden crossed after 9.5 minutes, and then they got another one pretty much straight away. And I thought, hello, this is going to be a blow-up. But to the Roosters' credit, they found a way back, and had a feeling there was going to be an upset on the cards. It was one end to the field to the other. Plenty of ball movement, and as you can see from this try here for Thulmere, it brought them right back into the contest. But champion teams, Camden Rams, they've what have they lost? 3 or 4 games over the last 3 seasons?
Yeah.
And this is a cracking one here for the winger. And pretty much that really hurt Thulmere heading into the break. And then they got another one shortly after the break to extend their lead. And the game wasn't over. Thulmere fought back with a couple of late tries here in the second half. But what I find with a lot of the top teams, Camden, Maitland, they score one late at half time and then one early in the second half. It just seems to be the thing that these top teams do, know how to score points late in the half and early in the second period. Here's the match sealer here. Just a little mistake picked up, and they score off this play or they offload. Question mark whether he was held, but anyway.
Well, yeah, it really... one thing with Camden is that the more dominant these teams are, you're waiting for an upset.
Yeah.
And that's what I was sort of looking at this game thinking, there's got to be some point they have an off game. But no, they say the good teams always seem to find a way, don't they?
Yeah, they certainly do. It was a double to Riley Oitman. John Ryan also picked up a double in a try to Ben Powers. Jackson Willis 4 from 5 with the boot. And a double for Marika Tuialo for the Thulmere Roosters, 30-22. Camden, I'm trying to get the table up on the screen. Just bear with me as I try and get this up. Camden on top is obviously one of the undefeated teams, and Thulmere, they dropped down to 5th after that loss. But, an interesting comp with Collegians, Oakdale in 3rd, the Oaks in 4th, I said Thulmere in 5th, and just outside the top 5, City Kangaroos, Mittagong, a further couple of points back, Southwest Goannas, Picton, and East Campbelltown Eagles.
Yeah, and it's probably time to address the Picton weekend with James Maloney playing for them, and definitely was a one-off game. I didn't realise he was nearing his 40s, so I'm like, yeah, man, you're crazy if you're going to be playing more than one game, or not at least having a week off here and there. But it was a great. Picton didn't get the win, but it sounded like it was a great occasion down that way, and James Maloney drew a crowd. There was plenty of kids for the kind of skills session at the start. And I just think there was lots of coverage. I saw it all over the place with James wearing, the Picton jersey. The sponsors must have been beside themselves. Actually, I think after that or the week before that, their major sponsor re-signed for a couple more years. So I don't know whether that's connected or it's timed that way. Yeah. But that kind of stuff, as much as it may just be like a bit of a circus, he comes and goes, it has a lasting effect by the sound of it. And good on Picton and James for making that happen.
Yeah, great. Good on him. He keeps delivering. We'll go to your game now.
Yeah, it was a cracker of a game. And it was sort of interesting because we had Queanbeyan Roos again, another undefeated team, and Goulburn were almost at the must-win stage of their season. This intercept try, he just turned on the pace. One of those funny intercepts where he just sort of picked the ball up off the ground. It wasn't like an intercepted pass and got away for that try. And Goulburn really got out of the blocks quite quick. Again, when you're watching a quality team like the Roos, you're kind of just waiting for them to come back. And, they did even up the scores. But, it's been 16 minutes before they were able to tie the game up. Great little grubber there. Very well finished off for the Goulburn team to go into the second half. Well, it was looking like it was going to be 10-6. And then they scored this try. It was a great little finish there. It led to it was 16-6 at half-time. Goulburn started well. It was starting to feel like that kind of upset.
Yeah.
When they finished this one in the corner, knowing that, and he just grounded that ball too. I was waiting to watch that on replay. But the Roos were able to come back, and this is what I think everyone at the ground was waiting for. The quality sort of chiming through, but would they have enough time? It was only 10 minutes to go. You see, watch this bounce. Just you couldn't time that, but better and a great finish there to the Roos second rower there. But they just didn't catch them. They had 10 minutes to go where Goulburn had to defend their line. To their credit, like Goulburn, it was sort of the Roos defence this season that has kind of led them to be undefeated. I think they've got the best defence in the comp. But Goulburn's actually scored near enough as many points as the Roos this season. It's just their defence that's kind of let them down the past few rounds. Yeah. And they held in there and did really well. It was the Goulburn, if they can get their combinations are coming together. They've got the Cornish brothers. So Tyler and Nick Cornish. If you know a bit of NRL, you would have seen them thereabouts, and they're Goulburn boys and got plenty of legs on them. They're still pretty young. And also the Latham brothers are playing in the halves, and they both had cracking games, or both sets of brothers had cracking games, kind of dominating play around that. It was sort of at that point, really, the leading into halftime, and at the other side of halftime, it was Goulburn that ended up dominating that point there. So the Roos had time to come back, but by then they were just they didn't have enough points in them to win the game. Consequently, that knocked the Roos out of the Clayton's Cup undefeated list. So, it was a cracker of a game to watch. It's when I say must win, you look at the table there. Goulburn are sort of looking good, better now than had they have lost that game. But it's very congested. You've got Queanbeyan Roos on top there, obviously. You've got the Blues and Bell United there fighting with them. And then a really congested 4th to 8th there. There's only 2 points separating. So that will make it interesting in the next round or two at the Canberra Cup to see who's coming and going there from the top. Is it a top 4?
Top 4 up there.
Yeah, top 4. So it's not a lot of space in that top 4 for all those teams, obviously. And, it'll be interesting to see what happens next. But credit to the Bulldogs. I would almost go there just to marvel in their jerseys. It's one of my favourite jerseys in country rugby league. They didn't. For a minute there, I thought, they look very similar to the Roos, but there was just enough colour, so there weren't anyone in the crowd or the commentators getting a little bit uptight about them matching too much.
Well, it's probably in my top 3. Obviously, but having 2 points for a buy is right in the bonnet,
definitely.
Thing, but definitely jersey clashes too.
I thought the factor with them is they have different coloured shorts, which I think is usually it's the tipping point when you've got two jerseys that are similar and shorts that are similar. Yeah. I think that's the point where you go, we need to give Paul a little bit of some sedative or something.
These clubs cry poor, but they do all right. And I mean, they can dish out jerseys for this, that and the other. Surely they now can afford to get home and away jerseys.
Yep.
Right, look at the draw. All right, we've got Goulburn. Yeah, we better take our white strip because we're playing Goulburn away. And the same when Goulburn go to Queanbeyan. Like, it's not hard.
No. Not hard at all.
Yeah.
And that's
and
coming from the fan side of things, if they give another opportunity to buy some merch, I think an away jersey sometimes when it comes to merch in any sport is more appealing because it's just a little bit different. Gives them an opportunity to design something different. Dude, what Old Bar did, throw it up to the fans. So design our away jersey would be a fantastic idea. But it was a great game, and the Roos now are kind of not quite out of contention, the Clayton Cup. We'll talk about that later. But this is probably not where I expected it to happen. I thought it might have been a Queanbeyan derby where they might have lost their first game. But well done the Dogs.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move into big hits of the week. First up, it's Therese Fuatimo of Mount Pritchard Mounties.
Bam.
It's a nice one underneath the ribs, lifted him, driven him into the turf, nice and gently.
On the back.
Brock Lamb, Maitland Pickers. Now, Brock is not known for his defence. He won't mind me saying that, but God, he put some good shots on the weekend. That was one of about three.
Yeah, and the chase. First there on the chase.
Jaden Hall, Nolan Watts, a double whammy here. Berkeley Vale Panthers against the Terrigal Sharks. Slow motion. Car crash. Got Mason Cabacho, Shell Harbour Stingrays.
Sort of lifted and went sideways. It's a very different kind of tackle, but that was great.
And finally, Evan Iwago, Macquarie Raiders. A bit of a double whammy here against the Lithgow Workers, but still a great shot. Yeah. Just the whiplash, the head going back.
The bravery of the ball handler there, he was running pretty straight and hard. So, you get your big hits, but sometimes it's also because of the attacking team having a red-hot crack. So it was great to see.
Yeah, apologies to Mason and Ewan if I pronounced your name incorrectly.
Yeah. You have every right now to pronounce Paul's name incorrectly whenever you like.
Yeah. Easily done. All right, we'll move into around the groups.
Yeah, there's a bit going on. I don't know. We might. I really just want to get into Clayton's Cup straight away, so we might as well get in there because I seem to happen every year where I start to sort of get that list together of teams that are undefeated, and then very soon after, there's a whole bunch of teams that lose in that group. So, and then I think it's almost like a routine now. We start to wonder, well, what if every team on that list loses a game? Then we have to count back to teams that have drawn and stuff. Seems to be, in the end, there's always a handful of one or two teams that end up getting through to the end undefeated. But this week, Dubbo Sims, probably the biggest one. They were playing, top of the table clash against Mudgee.
Yep.
And they went down 16 points to 10. So they've gone from the list. The Moree Boars. Actually, I think I might have nominated 2 or 3 clubs last week that I thought will go all the way, and almost all of them got knocked out this week. So maybe it's a curse. I don't know whether we go again this week. And the teams say, stop saying names, you're knocking us out. But the Boars, I thought, might have a good chance of getting through to the end, and they lost to Gunnedah 48-12. So that was what I was saying with Camden. Like, every team's going to have that off day, and Moree just must have that off day coinciding with Gunnedah having a cracker. Another Bulldogs win there. Of course, we saw the Roos get knocked out just then, and Wingham, which was the team I think I did nominate as the Smoky, or the team I thought was going to win. They actually had a top-of-the-table clash against Port Sharks, and they drew 28-all. So a draw rules you out of my list, and that was an interesting one because Port Sharks were, they really are. That was a top-of-the-table clash. Those two will most likely be very, very good chance of making the grand final against each other.
Yeah,
it was 28-all. So that'll make it interesting going into the back end of the season to see what happens up that way. The Tigers are now out of the running. Port Sharks are right up there with them, so it'll be interesting to see how it eventuates grand final day.
What would you prefer? A team from the remaining go through undefeated, or 2 teams are undefeated all the way, or do you hope that what have we got? We got 7 or 8 teams still undefeated.
Yeah.
That they all lose.
Yeah.
And just opens up. And it'll be a bit like a Melbourne Cup finish where you got,
it will. Yeah. The countback. I don't know what sports do countbacks, but there are. I might make a list next week of teams that have drawn but not lost.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few. And there's at least 2 teams, South's being one of them.
No, they lost on the weekend.
They lost on the weekend, sorry. There's another team that they've drawn 2 games.
Yeah.
And not lost a game.
Wow.
So, there'll be a bit of an interesting countback, you're right. And it could make the list quite big. It could make it more complicated, I guess, for the New South Wales Rugby League, because ultimately they're the ones that kind of decide at the end if there's a whole bunch of teams that have won the same amount of games. They've got their systems, they put it into their computers and maybe use AI and that kind of stuff, and they work out who is the rightful holder of the Clayton Cup.
Yeah.
If there's 18 teams who have all kind of won as many games as each other, it might make a very complicated decision to make. I'm glad I'm not them. But look, the teams that are left, there were some really, really close games that I thought, wow, that must have been. Some of them I sort of watched on mini games on BarTV and others I just sort of kept up with the reports. Albion Park defeated Nowra 13-12.
Yeah.
Nowra last on the ladder. So that's just remarkable that Albion Park. It was a great field goal in the end. Like, it was really well executed, but geez, it must have had them a bit nervous. There were a few that were lucky, like Cobar and Erina had the bye, so they had a week off. That'll make it interesting next week. Sawtell defeated Nambucca 28-16, Nambucca being a pretty decent club.
Yeah, they were up there last year.
Winning the comp and that kind of stuff. Inverell had to buy as well. Merimbula just defeated Tathra 30 points to 14. And Camden we saw with you. And, of course, the Griffith Waratahs defeated the West Wyalong Mallee men 24-22. So another close one.
Yeah.
So those 8 teams go through. We will wait and see. 8 doesn't feel like a lot. Like I said, this time last year, I think we're thinking, we might not have an undefeated team. Yeah. But a couple of those teams, I reckon, will just keep plugging away and we'll see where that lands.
Yeah, and 3 of them are Eagles.
Yeah, that's right.
Not that means anything.
No, it may. There's something I want to talk about that with later on in around the groups. Okay. Be prepared.
Okay.
Now, do you want to talk about who's playing who this week?
We can go through it, or we can do that a little bit later on.
We can do that later on.
Yeah.
We'll move on to a bit of rugby league and Victorian country rugby league news.
Yep.
The Bendigo Crushers, I don't know if I've talked about enough, but they were established in 2024 as probably like a team that I think Bendigo wasn't really represented at all in rugby league. So they've been building, playing in the 3rd grade of the Goulburn Murray Premiership against teams like Waverton and Avondale and the Doveton and some pretty established teams in 3rd grade. They're pushing to get a Melbourne Storm trial match at Bendigo, which will be the first time they've ever played in Bendigo.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, and to the point where normally I see these and I go, okay, that's a really good idea, but they actually had Josh King, the Melbourne Storm forward, drop by Bendigo the other day just to have a chat and have a yarn about that kind of stuff. But they also got politicians there, which often can mean absolutely nothing. But sometimes when you've got a little bit of political sort of will, these things can happen a bit easier. So I'd love to see they basically said, look, Ballarat and Geelong have all hosted a Storm game. We want our turn. They've got a ground there. Queen Elizabeth Oval holds 10,000 people, so it'd be decent enough facility. And they really want to make that happen. So, it'd be Gail Broad and Nathan and Andrew Lathlen.
It's a big oval. You need your binoculars.
Well, it'd be AFL compliant, which is big anyway. But, from what I saw, it's a beautiful old ground. But, you'd have to... I don't know, let people on the ground. They never do that. I like the idea of just letting people kind of hook around the edges of it and that kind of stuff. So anyway, we'll wait and see. But also in other sort of Victorian Rugby League news, Outback Rugby League news as well, Mildura are undefeated in the Outback Rugby League. They joined it this year after playing in the Sunraysia League, which is one of the more obscure leagues that have been around. Is sort of
in and out. I think they just go through ebbs and flows where they've got enough teams and not. So
and it's sort of the same with Outback Rugby League. But Mildura are going gangbusters. They're undefeated. They defeated Silver City on the weekend, 46 points to 12. Partu defeated Menindee, incidentally, 33 points to 26. They had their round there a few weeks ago, so they sort of like a moving what do you call it? Magic round, So a little bit like the Protein Cup. But, credit to the Mildura Warriors who are, kicking goals, doing really well down that way considering they're kind of back. They've ebbed and flowed through the years as well as a club. But they're doing great. Now, I was at the Perth International Movie Festival pre-committee drinks.
All right.
Okay. On the
pre. Yeah, anyway, there's a lot of pre's.
It's a pre-committee drink. So before the committee's formed, we like to have drinks.
Yeah.
And I mix with these types. Yeah. I'm really big on Western Australian International Film Festival.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
So I was over there. And a man handed me a script, and I thought, you don't know who's listening to the CRL show, but he said, look, you guys, for those who missed it last week, we're talking about how Southport Tigers, have dropped their coach. They've got some interim coaches, and you said, I think they should get Phil Economides to come out of retirement.
Yeah.
And wouldn't this be a story arc that could make a substantial, maybe even a moderate, maybe even an okay movie? And a random guy in the crowd said, have a look at this. And he had a full script.
Yeah.
And if you look, he actually doctored up some posters here. If you look on the screen.
Yep.
Tiger of the South, it's called. It's remarkable. For those who are listening, really find a way to watch and get a look at this poster. He included a character not dissimilar to you called Paul. Who is full story. I said, how does this fit the International Film Festival? He said, it starts in Phil Economides' Serbian years.
Yeah, right.
Where he was coaching Red Star Belgrade just before the pandemic.
Yep.
So that's sort of he's hit the low. You're like, oh, I'm happy in Serbia. Oh no, there's a pandemic, and I've got to come home. There's plenty to it. Captain Charger's involved in the story.
Right.
Clive Palmer comes back to the club, to kind of make amends for losing the grand final by missing a kick at goal in front. It's all worked out. I didn't write this.
And like Israel Flowers in the middle there too. Is he like the main character? Who would play him in a movie?
Well, that's a good question.
We might, leave that open to the viewers.
Yeah, that's good. Maybe The Rock.
Yeah.
Maybe The Rock.
Is it true the script, though, had Tiger King crossed out?
Yeah. Well, Tiger King, they're going to get involved because it goes through that period where Tiger King was big, and they were thinking maybe having him come over and be the mad fan like the Laurie Nichols, on the side, going, I'm a Tiger fan, So anyway, we'll see where that goes, but so it's great. Look, the story writes itself in lots of ways, but there's plenty to it, and we'll wait and see what happens. They need funding, so if anybody wants to, just let me know. I'll pass the money on. Don't worry. Let me know if you want to fund it. That'll be fantastic. And on the less serious matters, you're talking about the Eagles. You're saying, there's Eagles, plenty of Eagles. I've never heard of this, and I've never heard of any other club doing it, but I want more of it. Cobar Roosters went to the Sydney Roosters game on the weekend on invitation of the Sydney Roosters under a program called the League of Roosters program.
All right. Okay.
Now, they weren't the only ones there. What the Sydney Roosters have done is they've found every Roosters country club and created the League of Roosters.
Okay.
It sounds like a superhero thing. I think maybe they should make a movie about it, and we can talk about it next week. Yeah. But I thought, what an ingenious idea to just choose. I mean, it's a random selection because you don't get to pick who the Roosters are. But the Cobar, you'll see some photos there. The Cobar club loved the experience. It wasn't just here's some tickets. Corporate box. They met Anthony Minicello, which I think is part of the course if you go to a corporate box these days. And all the other Roosters clubs were there. So they mingled. The Sydney Roosters, I think, took them through the stadium a bit, talked about what they do with programs and pathways and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I thought, what a great idea. Like, if every club could just have their league of whatever, League of Warriors, League of Knights. I thought League of Knights would be interesting because it'd just be the Cobar Knights rocking up.
Oh, Ivanhoe Knights.
Oh, Ivanhoe. Yes, okay, right. Okay, so there's a couple.
But maybe they could branch out because I think there's gladiators and...
Yeah. I thought the Tigers they'd fill the stadium with Tigers representatives.
Well, if West Tigers let the Magpies in...
Oh yeah, Tigers and Magpies. It'd be they'd fill the whole of Leichhardt Oval just with the people coming.
I mean, look, Adelaide Rams. They could get them back, Muswellbrook and Camden, and
and
now we're talking
and Armidale. Yeah, that's great. They could just go to Adelaide when there's no one there. They just say there's no club here anymore, but let's just meet up in Adelaide. But I just thought, what a simple idea.
Yep.
Probably wasn't a lot of effort required by the Sydney Roosters, but they made the effort.
Yeah.
Wasn't publicised well at all. It's really hard to find anything about it online other than what Cobar put out there.
Yeah.
But I encourage other clubs to do it. Or if you're a club with a mascot that's similar, put it to the NRL and say, look, what do you reckon, guys? We should do this, even if it's just like an extra corporate box or some tickets. But what a great experience for all involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hastings League news. There hasn't been a lot of Hastings League news from moi, but I love the Hastings League, and I love a father and son game. So father and son, Leith and Bryce Costigan, played their first game together on the weekend for Long Flat, the Long Flat Dragons. If you look at the photo there, I couldn't at one stage, the only information I got was that one of them played on the wing.
Right. Okay.
And I thought, oh, hang on, which one is it? It's really hard to work out whether it was the son or the father that played on the wing. Yeah. Having a look, I ended up checking it. It was the son.
Oh, okay.
That's Bryce who played on the wing. But love that stuff when it's put out there. It was just at the moment, the Kendall Blues against community comps, so they sort of don't qualify for the Clayton's Cup, but the Kendall Blues currently lead the comp up that way with 7 wins, 1 draw and no losses. So, it's a great comp up there, pretty healthy. It's always been getting healthier and healthier at the moment, like the Aurora Valley came in recently.
Is that right? So Kendall Blues can't qualify for the Clayton Cup, but Cooler, who won it last year, the Castlereagh League?
Oh, no, Hastings.
Hastings.
Did I say Castlereagh?
Yeah, but Cooler won it in the Castlereagh last year. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I thought it was last year. Castlereagh
I think anyway, we should invent our own cup for lower tiers.
Yes,
so bring in the Regan Cup, George Talk.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's enough of them about, and actually, it would recognise, I think, if you've gone undefeated or you've been the winningest club in those comps, it's just as hard to do.
Yeah.
It's no easier to do it, to be undefeated in the Hastings League than it would be in any other group comp. Castlereagh, I think, was formerly a group comp.
Yes.
So I think that's why they can say, yep, we're in.
Right.
Hastings can't attach themselves to that.
Right.
They're sort of group sort of 4 and group 3, group 2, and sort of all a bit whatever.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think we should do that, and we should name it we'll give it our own name. We can own it.
Yeah.
We can be the ones promoting it, the whole bit. So there's been plenty about. That's sort of my around the groups for now.
Excellent. Yeah, I think just a quick little tidbit. Western Suburbs Rosellas have got their Ladies' Day. I know the committee there at West are trying their hardest to get people to go and watch local footy at Harker Oval.
Yeah.
So, if you're part of the club or used to be a player from the club, Ladies' Day in particular, get down there on Saturday. They're taking on Curry. So
that'll be a great good one. Yeah, get out there. It's a funny Harker Oval. It's so central everywhere, but it's often a bit hidden. You don't sort of notice it.
Beauty is you can go there Friday night too, watch a couple of games of open grade. Camp, there's plenty of green space on the hill. You camp there, wake up in the morning, what's going on here? 19s are playing.
There's actually a bowling club. This is a very, very local news for those. There's a bowling club across the road, and I have a relative that works there and says that no one knows it's there, and often it's really empty. And I just feel like if you're going to Harker Oval, head over to the Bolo because it's not busy, literally is not busy, and it's only like about 10 steps away from the ground sort of thing, but it's sort of often forgotten because there's the big Leagues Club obviously just down the way. But that'll be a cracker game on Saturday. Get out there.
Yeah. All right, around the groups.
Yeah, that's done.
All right, so we'll move into some tries of the week that we thought we're all right. There's lots of good ones on the weekend, and so we've gotten over that June long weekend period. Now we're sort of heading downhill, got the downhill run towards the semi-finals, so teams are starting to put the plays on, starting to look good.
Yeah.
Here's some tries. First up is Josiah Lowe of the Coomera Cutters. A bit of footwork here. Just bamboozles the fullback, and a lot of pace too from a back row. Josiah Lowe to score. Try for the Coomera Cutters.
Beautiful. Great finish.
Where are we off to next? It's Courtney Mapleson of the Queanbeyan Blues. This is the Katrina Fanning Shield down in Canberra. The kick, it's still on. Here she comes.
Not giving up.
Inches from the try line. Good try.
Great refereeing there too, because they spot that. You hard one.
Dominic Aroma of Carina Juniors here, just chasing the kick in the inside, almost taken out by the goalpost. Puts it down for a good try. Got Lincoln Bendel Moon of the Fig Tree Crushers. Just a good little bit of ball movement here. This is the Harrigan Shield. This is the 3rd division down there in the Illawarra.
A great left palm there. Yeah, put them on their back.
Got a double Lincoln in this game.
Beautiful.
And finally, Patter Church, Western Suburbs, Rosellas. I like a good winger's try. Even better when you run backwards a little bit, run around the opposition. Still got a lot of work to do. The fullback comes across, and he just sort of that gentle swerve around him.
Yeah, he kept pace. That's the thing. Like, he kept moving.
Yeah, and he stayed down on his haunches for about 5 minutes after that.
He's not the youngest player on the field, Patter Church, from guessing. So that was a good finish. I feel like we need to recognise that sometimes when some of the older gents, I don't know, I'm guessing, he might not be that old, but he seems to have been around a bit. But, it must be hard when you're in space and you think, oh, geez, I've got to do this against younger guys.
Yeah, and I think that was sort of 60-odd minutes into the game. He does a lot of hit-ups and work. So, he would have been absolutely gassed. Though.
God, I wouldn't run that hard if there was a fire alarm. So, seriously, I can't talk. He's doing well.
Yeah. Well, we'll go through, we'll wrap things up shortly, but we'll have a look at that. We'll go back to the Clayton Cup games of teams who are still undefeated playing this weekend. On BarTV, we've got Erina hosting Wyong on Sunday at Erina, 1v2.
Yeah.
Erina is undefeated. Wyong sitting in second, so this is going to be a ripper.
Erina coming off the bye. Is that a good or a bad thing? I don't know. But, that'll be a cracker of a game.
Sawtell travel up to Grafton to take on the Grafton Ghosts. 1v5.
Yeah.
Panthers are looking good to get another win there.
Yeah. It's hard to know those lower ranked teams, though. They're the ones that are going to press for an upset. Like, it's sort of almost like we're going to throw everything at this because they're undefeated kind of thing. So you never know. Yep.
Camden, we spotlighted them a little earlier, still undefeated. They host Southwest Goaners 1v8, so you'd expect Camden to get the win, but who knows?
I don't know. Camden keep finding a way too, so who knows?
And this is going to be a ripper. Group 7, Albion Park hosting the Stingrays 1v3. Stingrays got the win over Kiama, who I believe Kiama's second, maybe four. It's very close. Gerringong are up there too, and the Shell Harbour Sharks. So
very compressed ladder, like a bunch of ladders around the country at the moment.
And as you said, Albion Park just got the win against Nowra, who are down the bottom. So it's going to be
training will be like on this week, whether they'll just pretend it didn't happen, or whether they'll say, "Look, we're going to go a bit harder this week because that was really close."
Yeah. Marimbia Pembla Bulldogs host Edens 1v4. Again, another close one.
Yep, I don't want to jinx it, but I think Marimbia Pembla are now my team. I think we're going to go through. So be warned, Bulldogs. I've put you on the spot, but no, they're looking pretty. They're looking great down there. They have for years looked really, really dominant down there. So we'll see.
We've got Cobar hosting Narromine Castlereagh League, not on BarTV, but it's an interesting comp, Castlereagh, because you got Cobar undefeated, sitting in second, taking on hosting Narromine, who are in fourth. Coonabarabran, they're leading the competition. They're hosting Coolah, last year's Clayton Cup winners, 1v3. So there could be a bit of movement in the ladder after this weekend in the Castlereagh League.
Yeah, I know you love the idea that Cobar can be undefeated and coming second because of bye points, but it's going to work out in the end. You just got to think, that's the thing with getting points of the bye, it works out in the end.
Yeah,
but that'll be a cracker of a game. And Narrabeen, Corey Cox, haven't mentioned yet this year, but he has been putting some tries together, kicking some goals for Narrabeen. He is my favourite Cox, and he's been a machine for Narrabeen at a kind of later stage of his career.
Yeah. We'll see we'll keep you posted on how that goes next week. Group 19, Inverell hosts the Glen Innes Magpies, 1v3. It's at Glen Innes. Gee, it'll be cold up there.
Yeah, it'll be very cold up there. I do want to get up there one day for a game. It's been a while, but yeah, maybe not this time of year. I don't know, is there any other time of year that's any better? I don't know, but that'll be a great game. Inverell's again off the bye, so we'll see how that plays out. But Glen Innes have been pretty good form all year anyway, so yeah, it'll be a cracker of a game.
And Griffith Waratahs, they host Leeton, another 1v3.
Yeah, and that'll be again. One of those teams, Griffith, they only just got there over West Wyalong last week, so I don't know whether they're going to come out really focused or they're going to come out a bit like shaky because they've had a bit of a patchy run in the past week or so. Yeah,
so it's just a few games, 8 undefeated teams remaining. Will there be less?
Yeah.
We'll find out next week.
Yeah, looking at the games ahead, you think one or two of them are going to perhaps lose. So they're the real top of the table games for a fair chunk of those, but we will wait and see.
And just finally, one other thing we forgot to mention, it's New South Wales, or the knock-on effect New South Wales Cup Magic Round at Tamworth this weekend.
Yes.
There's a game Friday night, and then there's 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. But in between, there's a few under 16, 17s games. So it'll be a big thrill for those kids to play in front of which should be a decent crowd. If you, there's no Group 4 games on, so that New England area, there's no excuse. Get up, watch some good footy. There'll be plenty of NRL players that are back playing in the lower grades, trying to test and prove themselves that they're still can make the step up. So it's going to be a great weekend.
And it's the Magic Round where you got some young kids. They can go get a photo and an autograph and that kind of stuff. Like when you get the NRL standard and when the Magic Round, it's very distant. The players are really around you when it comes to New South Wales Cup, and especially for that Magic Round up that way. So yeah, get out there as a family. It'd be fantastic.
Yeah, all games will be live on BarTV. So if you can't make it to Tamworth, you can catch them all live.
There's a good kebab shop about 2 blocks away from.
Really?
I was going to say, what's the overlap there? But it's
Scully Park.
Scully Park, because I remember last year it was Sully Park.
It's funny. It was years ago since I lived up there. There used to be an Indian restaurant. It was like a restaurant like no other. It was actually in their backyard or their back porch.
Yeah, okay.
So you'd order. You'd walk in and think, shit, I've just walked into someone's house. And then I'm like, oh, no. And bloody good.
You sure you hadn't had a few too many beers and you did just walk into someone's house? No. They're just kind enough. They're like, let's give this poor man some food.
Yeah.
like, he looks like he needs a feed and just send him on his way.
No, it was great. It was bizarre, but it was great.
Next time I'm up there, I'm just going to be door knocking till I find that house.
I'm pretty sure they got shut down.
Why would they get shut down when they're selling a restaurant at the back of their house?
Who knows, maybe they've just moved into bigger and better
They might
places.
have, like a restaurant they call it. Yeah, but nice. Anyway, anyone know any Indian restaurant correspondents from Tamworth will be welcome. And it'll be a bit late for this week, but go hunting those people up there for Magic Round.
Yeah. All right, that's the end of us on the CRL Show. We'll catch you next week.
Cheers.
Lamb shank of a kick.